Hi guys, welcome back to Let It Out with Sadiq. We have a special guest today. He's not a stranger, but yeah, still a special guest. Rei Pelushi. Ray, welcome back to the show, brother.
Good having
Thank
you, brother. It's my pleasure.
Finally,
We made it again. We made it again.
But it's been 2 years since the last conversation we had. Amazing insights on mental strength. That opened my mind to the whole mental strength and how important it is. But I'm sure there's more.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
But have you been good?
Good.
Good. For our viewers, I mean, you guys know Ray, but for those of our viewers that do not know who you are, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, sure. I'm originally from Albania. Came here in the States when I was 18 years old. Played for a small liberal arts school in Missouri. I started playing tennis when I was 6 years old. Loved the sport, played all my life, was national champion for many years, played for Davis Cup for many years. That's when I got the scholarship after, and I came to the United States, played for the team, was an assistant coach, became a head coach, became the mental strength coach, and now for more than 2 years with TIA as a coach.
And getting to 3 years now.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for
Ray,
having me.
It's been 3 years plus since you moved to New York. What has been the biggest personal transformation during that time?
A lot. I still feel like I'm living my dream. I've always wanted to move to New York. I've always dreamed about New York. When I got the first scholarship in Missouri, I told the previous head coach that I was going to leave after the first week.
Oh, wow.
I asked for the release letter. I came to Missouri, I'm like, this is not the United States I've seen in the videos.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to experience kind of like the full package. So New York has always been my biggest goal, my biggest dream.
Yeah.
Even when I found this job, I had no idea it was in New York. And then after the interview that I had with Caesar, then I was like, oh wow, this place in New York, let me just go check.
Yeah.
And then I really believe, and I'm going straight to connecting this with mental strength, I believe in visualization, I believe in setting up goals. And if I look back to my journals, I always had goals to move to New York. I used to have pictures of New York everywhere in my apartment in Missouri. Wow. Just because I loved it so much, and I felt that life connects you with what you desire. It's been quite some things that have changed. Recently, I'm married, so
congratulations!
Thank you.
Congratulations.
That has been the biggest one.
Yeah.
Which I am extremely grateful. I've always seen myself in New York, married, and having my own life. So I'm just blessed to see things fall into place.
Congratulations again, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
When you first moved, what challenges did you face adapting to the tennis culture here compared to other places? Missouri, Albania. So what are the challenges?
Quite some. I have to tell quite some. I've always worked with high performance athletes. Even though it was a small liberal arts school, especially for the men's side, the UTR was 10.5, 11. I played on Davis Cup. As I mentioned on the previous podcast, I played with Nicolas Basilashvili, which was like third in the world. I saw Dimitrov. I played with all those pro guys. And when I came here to our academy, it actually made me think more about tennis. I've always been a high-performance athlete. I used to be national champion, so I thought that tennis was about performing and achieving trophies. But tennis is more than just that. Tennis is about building character. Building character through the sport, loving the sport, and becoming someone that you probably have never thought of who you are. It's very beautiful when we work with the 2.5 ladies or the players that just started playing tennis, and out of nowhere they will just love the sport. And what made me very interesting and even feel more passionate about the job that I have right now as a coach is that how the sport of tennis can be very accessible for everyone. And you can literally start at the age of 30, 40, 50 from zero, have no background in tennis, and then starting getting better and becoming competitive. And it's just so beautiful to see how so many of our communities that come and play for TIA, they love the sport, they become competitive, and then they see me for mental strength, but it's part of the game. It's part of the game. The mind is part of the game. The body is part of the game. The tennis fundamentals are part of the game. I felt, and I still feel that the biggest challenge, and not just challenge, but an eye-opening that I've had since day one, is how tennis can change somebody's life, and how you can just literally start from scratch at the age of 30, 40, 50 and become competitive. Not only for the love of the sport, but also learning more about of who you are. Starting something from scratch and challenging yourself with something that you're not good at.
Yeah. Wow. Ray, I mean, it's when you talk about like all of this starting 30, 40 years, I love the fact that with 30, 40, they still have this pathway. You know, growing up as a kid, you have the ITF, you have the USDA, you have kids traveling every weekend playing matches. But then with the adult, they have the platform where at 30, 40 plus, they still have like a USDA, you're still competing, you still have league, you know. That
It's
just,
beautiful.
you know, like I loved everything about that league and all of I was going to say, how do New York players differ mentally from players you've worked with elsewhere?
It's another beautiful question. I would say that especially when I was a head coach, I used to work with athletes that I saw myself in. They came to United States, they got a scholarship, they're trying to compete, they're trying to maintain their scholarship, they're trying to even get a higher scholarship. And here we do practice and we do train a lot of athletes that are 12, 14, up to 18 that are striving to get a scholarship.
Yeah.
But we have a large community that they're not striving for that. You know, the fun part of our job, which makes me very excited every day that I wake up, is that you have the potential to change someone's life in many directions. And if tennis is one of them, for them to get a scholarship, that is beautiful. But if you can change the life of somebody that is very excited to come on Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. before they hit the work at 9 a.m. just because they want to play tennis with you, it's just beautiful. It's just an eye-opening. So it has been different from the athletes that I used to work with, even though at the small liberal arts school that I used to coach and play, I used to have like 10 different nationalities. I had players from all over the world. Literally, I only had one girl from the United States in my team.
Wow.
Everyone else was
Super
international,
diverse.
super diverse. So they all were there for the same goal. So it wasn't much room that you can play with, even though there were some players that were higher in the lineup and some players that were lower in the lineup. And the ones that were lower, they knew that they wouldn't have as many matches, but at least they would get the experience of being part of the college team. Here it's a little bit different. We do still work, and I do still work with athletes that are striving to become better, to get a nice scholarship and to go to a big school. But we also play with and we train with athletes that they just want to get better in something they're not good, or they just want to have something beneficial as having the mind healthy and the body healthy by just playing a sport. So it has been very different cultures. And it is beautiful because that's what makes us being a coach in the end.
Thank you. How do you help player handle pressure in high stake matches?
Got some beautiful questions today, Mr. Sadiq.
Because I get that, like I've seen that a lot. Like, you know, you see players out there look good, like, but then match, final set, you know, a big tournament, all of a sudden pressure takes over everything. How do you help these players handle moments like that?
That's beautiful. Everybody feels pressure. Even my tennis idol, which has been since at the young age, Novak Djokovic, says that even after 24 Grand Slams, he still feels pressure before a match. But these athletes have been learning and using the tools how to perform better under pressure. What does that mean? Not letting pressure kills you, but letting pressure helps you, motivates you, and get better. And play the best match that you can play under pressure. They don't fear pressure, but they need the pressure to play even better. And I'll tell you an example. I watched it in another podcast, and this guy was saying that how he lost his spark for motivational speaking when he started not having pressure. He was like, at the beginning, I used to make the best speeches I could ever make just because I felt the pressure. So I was performing so good. And after, because I did this motivational speech for so many years, I started losing the pressure because I knew exactly what I was about to say. And in the end of his career, he saw that his performance dropped a lot. And you cannot build that. It's tough to build pressure. We never want to feel uncomfortable. I mean, look at us, even in our daily basis, we never want to be uncomfortable. We always strive for a comfortable life. We always strive to feel good. Now, when you don't feel good, when you feel pressure, I tell all the athletes, I'm like, you have an opportunity because you don't strive to feel pressure. You don't put yourself in an uncomfortable situation daily. So now when you have that in practice, try to embrace it and use it. Our mind is very big. Our mind is very powerful. It's something that we still haven't discovered everything about our mind. What does that mean? Our mind can play games with us. If you won a lottery of $1 million or more, or if you're being chased by a dog in the street, you're gonna have the same adrenaline. You're gonna feel either excited or you're gonna be feeling scared. But this is what your mind does to you. It gives you the perception of how you react to this situation. But in reality, the dopamine, the adrenaline, and all those things in your body and obviously in your mind, they work the same way. Now, I think that I can sprint and I can sprint fast, but if I know that a lion is coming after me, I'll definitely sprint even faster. Now, it's tough for me to trigger my mind if somebody's chasing me for real. So when you actually have those moments, you can actually play your best. You can actually use that adrenaline to help you and not to crush you. So I'll tell all the athletes that you should use pressure for you, not against you. You're lucky, you're blessed. Now that you're feeling in that situation, learning how to maneuver, it's the tricky part. You have the energy, you can have a fast car, but if you don't know how to drive, you're just going to be drifting around and probably switching lanes. But a good driver with a fast car, that's the one that wins the Formula One. So there's many tips, there's many tricks that you can play with your mind. There's many things that you can do every day that you can trigger yourself to play better under pressure. I think it's a journey. It's not a quick fix. It's not a pill that you can just take it once and now I'm going to play great under pressure. You have to, for example, put yourself in those uncomfortable situations. One of the tips that I've learned from one of my coaches, from a professor, is that most of the world and throughout the United States statistically shows that the highest percentage, the highest numbers that people fear the most is public speaking. And in order to get better at public speaking, is that you just have to practice public speaking. So putting yourself on those situations will make you better. So one of the things that I'll tell to everyone is do not stop putting yourself into uncomfortable situations. Always find new things that you can challenge yourself. Always find things that you can feel uncomfortable. And another story, and I'm gonna cut it with this, is from a lady that she built her own company. Their company got into like very successful one. I think she was into makeup, but I'm not exactly sure. It's been a long time since I heard the story. And when she was asked how you became successful, is because my dad made me every single day since a very young girl to come home at the dinner table and tell and share with the family something that she was really bad at. So she's like, I'll try a new thing and I'll be so excited going home and tell my dad, Dad, guess what I did? I did skateboarding today and I fell twice and I was so terrible and I felt so embarrassed, but she will share with such a joy because it will please her dad. So through a young age, she trained her mind, and her dad obviously trained her to feel very uncomfortable and to try new things. So when she got older and she opened her own company, she became so successful because nothing was there to stop her. She probably felt still pressure, but she was going out there and doing things, asking for leads, asking to sell her to sell her product until her company became one of the most biggest one in the makeup industry. I actually have to look up that lady because it was very inspiring what I first saw, which also changed my mind and changed the way how I deal with things.
Yeah.
And I used to start doing uncomfortable things every single day. And one of the things that we joke together even nowadays is that from the first day that I came to your podcast, even though I had started the challenge, I continue to take a cold shower every single morning.
Did you see the video I posted it like a couple weeks ago?
I saw
That's
your
more
video.
than cold shower, right?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Try to do it every single day. That's the challenge part. So if there's one thing that I'll tell everyone is to challenge themselves and try things that they can feel uncomfortable at their daily basis.
Oh, I will try something uncomfortable. I don't know what, but I will try something.
You can try you can try with the cold shower.
I did that already, though.
But you can do it for a week. That's the challenge.
Okay, we'll think about it. Ray, in your experience, how much of tennis success is mental versus physical?
So,
because like
it's very mental and it's very physical. I tell to the players that I work with that with whoever you're being placed to play against, they're either a little bit better than you or a little bit lower than you. You'll never play somebody that is different division than yours. Rather than when I used to play for Albania, and then next thing you know, I was 14, 15 playing with top 200. That was definitely out of my league. But in general, you would play players that are around your level. And in that moment, the mental game plays a huge part. If somebody is better than you and you lose, there's nothing wrong with it. But it sucks when you lose with somebody that you know you can beat. So it's like body and mind. They go hand to hand. You cannot separate what is better, physical or mental. Because if I'm stronger than you physically, and I can stay in the rally for way longer than you, and I'm a way better player than you, what the mind can do at this point, you cannot be delusional. You cannot just think that you can win and next thing you know you lose 6-0, 6-1. But when you play with players that are around your level, now your mind plays a huge factor. And we've seen it in today's tennis, how so many people and how many players cannot break through. And it was a study that they did a couple years ago when Nadal, and Federer and Djokovic was the top 3. And they used to dominate Grand Slams. So they asked the top 10, literally the top 10. Like, there's not a crazy difference. We're not talking about top 100, top 200. We're talking about top 10. And they would ask them, like, why can't you not beat these guys? Or why can't you not you cannot win a Grand Slam? It was this stigma that everyone said exactly the same thing. Oh, it's impossible to beat these guys in Grand Slam. So they already...
That point is mental.
Yeah, they already set up their mind that, I cannot beat Djokovic, Nadal, or Federer in a Grand Slam. So they would start the match already losing. So it can play a lot, and obviously these guys have done amazing things for the sport. But at that level, the top 10, they can strive the same forehand, backhand, and serve, and they can move extremely well. Now, who has the mental capacity to stay longer in the point and to develop the point and play smart on specific moments? These are the ones that can take it to the next level. Again, I'm going to mention Djokovic because he's my idol, but how many times he has broken down the top guys. He beat on the US Open finals Federer when he was 2 match point downs and came back. He beat Federer on the final of Wimbledon, 2 match point downs, and he came back. In that moment, it's just mental. You go to the 5 sets, you go to the last games. The physiques are there. They're both extremely tired. The mental part does play a big role. Answering your questions, they go hand to hand.
They go hand. Similar. I mean, it has to do with mental confidence. But how do you rebuild a player's confidence after losing? after losing a strike, they've been losing, young players, we work with all of these kids, go to L6, they just can't get a win. They lose back to back. How do you rebuild their confidence as a coach?
It's a very, very nice question. Every person is different, so you need to build a relationship with the player, first of all. They have to trust you. So from that moment, now the information can break through. If they don't trust you, if you don't build, everybody can tell you exactly the same things. We all know, for example, that working hard is great, but everybody says it. Now, if a loved one tells you that, hey, you gotta work hard, it takes that motivation on you, and now you're like, okay, now probably I gotta start working hard. So the first step I would say is building relationship and having this trust between a player. From that moment, there's different strategies that work for different players. One of the strategies that I love is to remind yourself of the days that you used to win. So now you're triggering your mind that, hey, that is still me. I haven't lost it. I'm still the same guy. I have to believe in myself, because if I don't believe in myself, then who else will? It's very interesting because I would ask players like, are you playing a tournament this weekend? And they'll be like, yeah, I'll play. I'm like, are you confident you're gonna win? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, don't even try, don't go. He's like, why? Well, you don't know, you're already gonna lose. Why even go try? Yeah. You have to believe in yourself. I tell my players that it does not matter if I believe in you. If you don't believe in yourself, then it's done. So one of the tips and the triggers is like, yeah, sure, but he doesn't believe or she doesn't believe in themselves. I'll tell them to remind themselves of the wins that they had. So now they can slowly build their confidence. And there's no right or wrong answer. I used to also tell players that go play some other tournaments, some lower ones, get some wins. Get some wins just so that you can get that motivation up again. So you believe that you can win again. And from then you start building on. Again, it's not only on the match day, it's on your daily basis. If you work hard every single day, then your mind will start believing in you. But if you work twice a week and you've been losing matches and you're not doing anything about it, then you probably will have the same results. Sometimes you also have to check the patterns. If I want to have different results, I have to take different actions. So I'll probably change something on my schedule. I'll do more footwork exercises. I'll do more serves. I'll do more meditation. I'll do more visualization, which I'm a huge believer of visualizing yourself winning, going into your mind, into those moments of how it feels about not having things go well, and then turn it. One of the best guys that I still love about the mind and visualization was Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps has won tremendous amount of gold medals from a very young age, and he would visualize every single day. But what was interesting about him is that he would visualize both scenarios. He would visualize when the race would go excellent and he would win it easy, and he would visualize when everything went completely sideways and he still found a way to win. He literally said that I had visualized me jumping into the water, losing my goggles, and still winning the race. And it happened in one of the Olympics. He jumped, I believe it was the Olympics. He jumped for the race. He lost the goggles, and he's like, I've seen exactly the same thing on my visualization. So he kept swimming the whole time without the goggles, and he won the race. So he had done the work on his mind, and obviously you have to do the work on your body. I hope this answers your questions. It's a working process. There is ups and downs. That's why you have to also set up goals, small goals. Have the small wins, even in your day. There's one of the Navy SEALs guys that went to a speech on a college, and he's like, if you want to change the world, start by making up your bed. So now you make up your bed, you accomplish something small in your day. Now you do another, you take your vitamins, you accomplish something small. You take a cold shower, you take something small. So by the end of the day, you have accomplished 30 things. And you can go to your notebook and start checking, check. You're like, oh wow, I'm doing a lot of things. So small wins can turn into the big ones in the end.
And once, like going back to the question, right? Once players start losing, what would you recommend as a mental coach? Like you're working with this person do you always, I see people say, we take a break from matches, take a break from tournament, go back to the drawing board and all. Is it a lot easier, should I say easier, but what would be the best approach? Staying away from that competitive environment, or be there and walk your way through it? Go to that tournament, go win, go instead of,
Sure.
It comes out like, I was like, why are you running away from
That's true.
So what would you, say in this scenario?
There's nothing against taking a break. There are some players that probably experience burnout. They have been playing so much tennis, they've been playing so much tournament that literally their body and their mind is asking for help.
Yeah.
They need that break. They are asking for that break.
No, but this is, this is just in terms of because they're losing. Like they want to take a break because they're losing, not because,
But because maybe they're losing because that build-up has been so much on them. They've been playing so long.
Yeah.
They've been playing so long that maybe they lost the enjoyment for a minute. Djokovic was one time that he said, like, there was one day that I gathered my whole family after a final he lost, and he's like, I'm done with tennis. And he literally took 2 weeks off, did not play a single day of tennis, and after 2 weeks he's like, I love this thing and I'm coming back. And since then he started breaking all the records. So taking away 2 weeks, 1 month to maybe just work your way up through your emotions, there's nothing wrong with it. It's very funny because there's no formula. What works for me does not work for you.
Yeah.
So you have to try different things. That's what I'm saying. I don't really disagree with shying away from it. Now, maybe if you lost and you want to push through and you continue to lose and continue to lose and continue to lose and you're trying everything you think that you can, maybe taking a break is not the worst thing you can do. And coming stronger after might be even a beautiful comeback. So you have to know the individual, you have to know yourself. You don't really necessarily have a right or wrong answer. It's just what works best for you.
Okay. So I was going to say, what has been the proudest coaching moments for you?
The proudest?
Yeah.
I can't tell you one, but I can tell you some. And it has actually been here at TIA. It has been here at TIA and also when I used to be the head coach. When I used to be a head coach, one of the players texted me after I left, and his message was, thank you for making me, thank you for helping my tennis develop. But his words were, especially thank you for making me a better person. So if I have to say what has been one or couple, that is one of that I remember, because now it makes me believe that I can change people's life. It's not just about tennis. Tennis, you will play and you'll stop, but who you are as a person is bigger than anything in this world. So changing somebody's life or thinking that you have such a big impact on someone's life, I think is the biggest accomplishment someone can ever have. And that's why I love coaching, and that's why I love mental strength, because I love to help. And when I get those, even for Christmas, everybody gives us those cards, and I have every single card. And when I read the notes that is handwritten, saying that thank you so much for making me become a better player. Thank you so much for making me achieve the high school team. Thank you so much for making me become or develop something more of myself. They're just so beautiful. So you cannot say which one it's one. I think just the fact that you have an impact on somebody's life, it's the biggest accomplishment that I feel as a coach. And I think that's what actually coaching is about. It's not just about winning or losing, it's about impacting someone. And if you can impact with tennis, because now they're winning more tournaments, you're still impacting someone's life, because now they're feeling more happy, they feel more achieved, they feel that they have another thing that they can strive for in their life. So there's been a couple, but they all circle into affecting someone's life in a positive way.
How has moving to New York in the fast-paced, the fast-paced lifestyle, here, how has that affect, how has, I don't want to say affect, but how has that change how how you see things, how you coach, how your daily life and all of that? Does that have any impact coming from Missouri, calm, quiet, and then here in US, like it's on the go non-stop, So has that changed how you see things, how you do things, how you approach?
It's very, very nice. Very, very nice question. I am, as I said, I'm from Albania, and I've born and raised in the square of the capital city. So I've always used to be.
What's the capital?
Tirana.
Tirana.
So I've used to noise, 6 a.m., people trying to sell on the street, car honks. So I've always loved the fast pace, and I've always been more motivated through a fast-paced life. So honestly, here in New York, I found my true self. You would have asked me the question when I was in Missouri, how I adjusted for 8 years in a very, very slow life there. But you find goals and they motivate you to do more. Even in Missouri, I used to always be the guy that I used to wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, go to the class. And when you're in college, you don't really feel that lifestyle because you're in a constantly fast life, even in college. You're going to classes, I used to wake up, practice. I used to practice myself in the morning and then do assignments and then have a side job.
Just
and
like
so I always used to be like that. I always used to be like that. And what made me leave Missouri to come here to New York was that slow life. Especially when I became the head coach, I used to have so much more time. Like I used to, for example, achieve my goals of recruiting 6 months in advance. So now I had no other goals about recruiting new players because I already used to overfill my team with players, honestly. And I would have so much time. I literally had nobody that would tell me when to go to the office, when to go to practice. Practice used to be 3:30 to 6:30. And beside that, I used to have the whole day free for myself. If I used to love that lifestyle, I used to probably lose my mind. And I started almost losing my mind. I used to find other things to make me be more achieved. I used to start writing a book, open a podcast, go to the gym, do this, do that, do so many things just because I love the fast lifestyle. So for me to coming it here, it's not easy. Every day takes a lot of energy from you to perform and be at the highest level that you can be on that particular day because we have highs and lows. But I love it here. I love the fast lifestyle, and as of right now, things have been kind of falling into what I've always wanted to do.
That's good. What separates good players from great players mentally?
The great players take no for an answer. There's this video from Bill Biswick, another sports psychologist that used to work with so many teams. He used to work with, I forgot, Adam Peat was another guy that was gold Olympics from the England team. He coached the soccer team of England, the basketball team of England as the mental strength coach guy. And he would separate athletes in 4 different categories, if I'm not mistaken. There'll be one category of athletes that they will just turn up. He will say, he will just turn up into practice and he will just be there. There will be another category of athletes that will come into practice to play and to compete. And there would be another category of athletes that they would compete on the matches. They would go and play tournaments, like they would practice. So one category just there to practice. Another one is to compete into practice. Another one that train and compete into practice so they actually can compete out there, but that doesn't mean that competing is actually wanting to win everything. And it's like there's just a very, very small amount of athletes that for them, winning is non-negotiable. Winning is inevitable. They would train so hard. So on the match night, they already won before they even step into there. So I share this with all the athletes that we work, especially with the high performance. And I'll tell them that if you're part of this small, and the beautiful thing about this is that you can lie to everyone, but you cannot lie to yourself. You really know. So you know where you fall. So if you actually go out there and compete and lose and act like it's the biggest thing in the world, don't lie to yourself. You probably are okay with it. I'm speaking about those athletes that they will do anything to win. And those are the players and the athletes on every kind of sport that we have seen today, and they will strive to win everything out there because for them, winning is inevitable.
What advice would you give to young athletes struggling with self-doubt?
With self-doubt?
Yeah.
In general or in sport?
In sport.
In sport?
Yeah.
Again, it's like knowing what you want. If you have the best ship, the best cruise line, if you have no destination, you will just be floating around. So what I would tell to every young athlete that struggle with doubt is to take a moment and ask yourself, what do you truly want? If you want to play a sport for fun, then stick to it. Don't let other people affect your mind and feel like you're a loser because you're losing, because probably that's not your goal. But recognizing your goals will make a huge change on your mind. And after that, you'll learn more about yourself and you'd have a more clear soul on how to adjust and adapt into things. Maybe this environment is not fit for you, so there's no reason why you should doubt yourself. But if you truly, truly want to win, those people don't really have doubts because they'll do anything to make sure that they win.
If you could go back and advise yourself 4 years ago, what would you say?
Regarding my coaching career or?
Regarding your coaching career.
What I'll say 4 years ago, I'll still be, I don't think I would have probably been at the beginning of myself as a head coach. I think 4 years ago, that's when I was the head coach. If I would advise myself is to not see things through my own lenses, but try to see the individual, the player, through their own lenses. Maybe the cold showers in the morning and the 4 a.m. runs are not for everyone, and that's okay.
They're not for me, for sure.
The running, yes, I know you run.
Yeah,
the cold showers are.
I've invited you to the.
Yeah, I've been invited.
I should invite you more.
Well, maybe.
Run with me, I take cold shower with you.
That's a good thing to keep each other accountable. So that's what I would advise myself to look at things with other people's lenses.
I get caught off in that, in that mindset. Like I'm looking at they can. You have to bring see things in their way. Like how are they feeling? Can they push? Are they really trying? No, you want them to go from here to here, but are they there yet? You have to. But Ray, rounding up, just what legacy do you hope to build for yourself?
Beautiful question. I've always felt that I've been in this world to create something.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do get caught into the daily things and the daily basis, and I feel like sometimes we forget about our biggest goals or dreams. Now, things have changed, and I truly mean that I find so much pleasure and joy when I have a small note card that someone sends me that I was able to change their life. Now, that is beautiful. I imagine if I could have changed 1 million people's life. That has always been my goal, that has always been my dream. I used to love when I used to be a mental strength coach in the college, and I would speak in front of the freshmen at the freshman orientation weekend, and I'll talk about mental strength. I'll speak in front of like 200 freshmen, 300 freshmen, and me just finding myself speaking in front of people and hopefully trying to affect as many lives as possible. I used to enjoy that so much. So my dreams and my goals are very big. And sometimes I'm not perfect. I see myself falling off from it. But the legacy that I would love to build is to be able to to host seminars of 10,000 people, 50,000 people, people that would know me and they would know my name. It's like, oh, I'm going to go to the seminar of Coach Ray because you always have great stuff to talk about. And having in front thousands of people that I know that I can affect as many as I can, but I think it's easier for me to affect more people speaking to more than speaking to less. So that's one legacy that I would love. I would love to be remembered in this world as somebody that changed a lot of people's life.
So, Ray, rounding up, I usually ask people this question a lot. I'm curious to see what you're gonna say. If you had to implement one rule that would come to pass, what would that be?
Say it one more time. One rule that?
Yeah, one rule in the world, what would it be? If you're to implement something in the world, what would you implement?
Everybody to take cold showers every morning. So I know their minds are getting stronger. It's not about the body, it's about the mind. If there's one rule and one law, everybody must take a cold shower every single morning so they can challenge themselves.
I see I was watching your IG page over the summer, traveling around Europe and all, and I'm curious. I know we've talked about New York City. I want to take New York City out of this. I want to take your country out of this. What city would be your favorite city outside of New York City? Outside of New York City.
New York City is my favorite. But outside of New York City, and I've traveled a lot throughout my life because of tennis, but I haven't traveled in so many places that I would love to travel. One of the places that I would love to travel is Japan. Like, this is one of my biggest dreams that I've always had, like to be in Japan. So I don't know which city will be my second favorite after
among the ones you've been to outside of New York.
Yes, so I don't know because I feel like I need to explore more to say which one it is.
Okay.
But for the places that I've been traveled, one city that actually made me mind-blowing was last summer, and was Venice. Venice was just out of this planet. Rome was beautiful. And I used to always tease my Italian friends that they would be so cocky and think so much of their culture and their country. I'm like, come on, man, there's a lot of nice places. But when I went in Italy this summer, and I went twice, I really, really enjoyed Italy. Rome was unbelievable, but Venice was just out of this world. So as of right now, for the place that I've traveled, outside of New York and my capital city, Tirana, I'll say Venice.
One final question, and I'm kidding. What was this place? Albanian pizza or Italian pizza? Which one?
No, absolutely.
What's the name of the one we talk about? What's the name of
you went to Proper Pizza.
Proper Pizza. Proper Pizza.
He went to an Albanian.
I was like, what is this? That did not
I feel
represent.
so bad because he represented my home culture's food in such a wrong way.
Proper Pizza.
Proper Pizza in Albania was nice. I don't know what they did in Bronx, but they closed down, so probably they did something wrong. That's why he didn't like it. But the Italian cuisine was unbelievable, and their pizza. You can go to the best Italian restaurant pizza in New York, and people that actually come from Italy and do it, and probably it's unbelievable tasty, and I've been in some. It does not compare to actually the pizza that you would eat in Italy.
Like, I think this is always, it's applies to everything. Like, I go to a Nigerian restaurant here, owned by Nigeria, the chefs are Nigeria, but there's something missing.
I don't know.
Is it like mental? Is it is it mental that we just think it's not home, so it's not the same? Because you see, like, the food, the group, they import it from Nigeria, right?
Correct.
The same thing, like the same flowers, the same whatever it is. We talk about soup, swallow, whatever, but it's just something is missing. Is it that actually, maybe you can answer that? Is it just me or we in our head, or it just doesn't taste the same?
I think it does not taste the same.
Okay.
I think it does not taste. I mean, who knows how they've imported the stuff? So it's different.
How many days?
How many fridges they've been. I truly believe that if you really want to try an authentic food, you have to be in that country to really value it and rate it. So.
Okay. I mean, I think so, but at the same time, I'm, like that benefit of like, maybe I'm in my head. Like the same chef would probably go to Nigeria and cook the same food. I'm like, yeah, that's the best, but now it's in New York City, I was like, no. And I have this thing where wherever I visit, I try Nigerian restaurants. Just
nice.
to, yeah, like pretty much everywhere I've been to, except
That's
of
beautiful.
course they don't have one, or it's just too far,
Correct.
or whatever reason. But I've been, it's just
it's not the same.
It's not the same.
I've been in so many Albanian restaurants. It's not even close to what my mom and my grandma used to cook.
But Ray, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Sadiq. It was my pleasure. We'll see each
Likewise.
other again.
Yeah.